Why did you decide to get the copper T? Was it painful? Do you still get your period? What was the process? How much did the procedure cost? Would you recommend it to anybody else? Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If my face is unfamiliar to you, my name is Lauren, and if you haven't seen from the title of this video, I'm going to be speaking to you about basically my copper T, how it's going, basically IUDs. So if you guys are interested in that, then just keep on watching. For those of you who don't know, I recently, well not recently, about 3 months ago, I embarked or decided to go and get a copper T. A copper T is a form of birth control that is long term instead of taking the pill. And I actually want to read to you the proper description of what a copper T is. So a copper T, which is known as a copper IUD, which is Paragard, is an in-taurine device, IUD, that can provide long-term birth control contraceptive. It's sometimes referred to as a non-hormonal option. The Paragard device is a T-shaped plastic frame that is inserted into the uterus. So I've got quite a few questions about it, or a lot of people are interested in the journey, why I got it, and. So I decided to create this video for anyone who is considering it, or is wanting to get it, or doesn't know a lot of information about it. So, a little bit of history. I have been on Jeanette, which is a contraceptive, for about 10 years. When I was in grade 7, I had really bad skin, and the doctor told me, or he suggested, I start Jeanette. So I used to call it my skin pill, because obviously at the age of 12 years old, I was not taking birth control for the sake of birth control. And it worked incredible wonders for my skin. Let me tell you, my skin was insanely clear. Like from grade 7, up until this point, I never ever had a skin problem, and I wish now that I embraced that, and I used to be like, oh, thank you. But yeah, that is the reason I was on Jeanette. I was on Jeanette for 10 years. Now the first question is, why did I change from using Jeanette to deciding to get a copper T or a different form of contraceptive? So I had been on Jeanette for 10 years, and every time I was in a conversation with ladies or young ladies or women, and it's a topic that's discussed often, I would say that I've been on Jeanette for 10 years, and I used to get like these looks and like, oh my goodness, like how can she be taking this for 10 years? It's not good for her body. And then I started to think, and I was like, you know what, that is true. So the first factor was definitely the fact that it was on a skin pill for 10 years, and that can't be good for my body. The second factor was that if I had this copper T inserted, I wouldn't have to worry about the pill in terms of taking it, what time of day I needed to take it, also the price, because medical aid didn't cover the whole thing, so I would still have to pay every month for it. So it was that, and a copper T still allows you to have a period. It is the Mirena that stops your period completely. And I thought, you know what, I'm 21 years old, I just turned 21 years old, and I was like, Lauren, you don't want a baby for 3 years. And I said, it's the responsible thing to do to get it now. I'm about to go off my parents' medical aid, and I was like, let me just get it now because medical aid should cover. So it all sounded really good in my head. I was like, this is the reason I'm gonna get it done. So moving on to the process of how it happened. For those of you who don't know, I went to Women for Life. They are in Main Road, Warmer now, in Port Elizabeth. I will link their website down below. So I went there for my consultation, because you don't just go and they shove it up there, because, you know, they just don't do that. So in the first appointment, I went there knowing I'm getting a copper T, and she just discussed it with me. She explained to me how it's going to happen, and she gave me 3 options. So she said, A, they either just put it up B, they can give me an injection, and then that will, like, I won't feel anything, and they will put it up. And then thirdly, I can be basically like it's like a day bed, so they knock you out completely. And because so many people around me were like, oh yeah, it's nothing, have it done, it's the best thing ever, I was like, you know what? And they were like, it's not painful. Jessica from Bradar, if you're watching this, she told me this was also another reason I decided that I'm gonna do it, because it's not painful. I said to her, no, it is fine, I will do it the natural way. So because of my cycle and how things work, she's like, you know what, it's actually perfect to go in right now. And I was like, whoa, okay, I need to prepare myself. So she said, okay, come back in 2 days and then we will do it. So I was like, okay, awesome. So she said it was going to be fine. All I needed to do was get the apparatus and take 2 Gen Pain beforehand, and we'll be good. Okay, come procedure day. Lauren doesn't feel nervous because I was like, you know what, people have said it's fine, I'm gonna take my Gen Pain, it's gonna be fine. The lady said it's gonna be fine, it will be fine. So I rocked up to my appointment and I got to the desk, and she's like, the lady at the front desk said to me, did you drive yourself here? And I was like, yeah. So she's like, well, how are you gonna get home? And I was like, what do you mean I'm gonna drive myself home? So she's like, oh, okay. So I was like, first red flag. Then I go into the appointment and she says, oh, how are you feeling? Are you all right? And I'm like, okay, why? I'm starting to get nervous now. But anyway, I get onto the bed, I feel fine. I'm like, you know what, Lauren, it's gonna be a little bit sore, but it won't be terrible. And this thing starts. Nothing in life will prepare you for this feeling. It is, if I had to describe to you how it felt like a period pain on steroids, like the worst period pain you will feel in your life. And I was not prepared for that because so many people told me that it wasn't going to be painful. So I wasn't prepared for that amount of pain. And basically during the process, my uterus spasmed closed. So she wasn't able to get it up. And she looked at me and she said, you know what, Lauren, you've spasmed. So I said, oh, what do you mean? So she said, okay, well, we have 2 options. She says, you're already feeling the amount of pain you're going to feel. We're either going to do this for a little bit longer and I'm going to push it the rest of the way, or we're going to book you in for a day bed because I wasn't doing well. She said my uterus was very, very small and tight, and she said she was struggling to get it up. She even said that it was one of the more difficult copperties that she's had to insert before. So I was shaking, I was sweating, I was so like, I was trying to be brave, but I was this close to crying. So I said, you know what, I'm already in the amount of pain that I'm in and I'm petrified of needles, you're gonna shove it up. So then I hold it and she pushed it up. Yo, it was so sore, but now after that I felt very okay. So it was done, she said I'm done, and I was laying there, I felt very, very shakish, and I was like, I don't know, like I felt something was wrong. I was like, you know what, I feel faintish, I'm gonna faint, I'm shaking, I'm scared, like I'm nervous. And she was so accommodating. She said, we can make you coffee, we can arrange that somebody drives you home. Like they really were, the lady was incredible who helped me. But I just laid on the bed for a while, and then after a while I had a glass of water and I got up, and I was still shakish, but I said I'm fine to drive myself home. Then I got home and I fainted when I got home, but I didn't faint out. I just I felt like my body was in shock. So that is the during. Now the aftermath of it. So the first day I was fine because I did my procedure at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I just laid down, watched movies, and my mom gave me food and looked after me. Then the next day I started bleeding. But she did tell me that I would bleed and I would have a little bit of spotting. So bearing in mind, I had just finished my period, then I had the insertion, and then the day after the insertion, I started spotting. I spotted for 3 days in total. After 3 days of spotting, I started my period, because as soon as you stop taking the pill, she said as soon as I had the copper T inserted, you don't need to take the pill. So obviously, because my body stopped taking the pill, it thought it was time to have a period. So in total, I bled for a week of the period, my period leading up to the procedure. I spotted for 3 days, and then I had an additional period. This period was the heaviest period of my whole entire life. It was so heavy. I had never experienced so many cramps, so many pains. Like, it was a very heavy period. So I bled for at least 3 weeks in total. So that is how it all went down. Now, the next question I got asked was, how is it now? So it's been about 3 cycles since the insertion, and unfortunately, because of all the hormones that were in the pill, I haven't had a period. So I haven't had a period for 3 months, 3 whole months. And this comes to my question of, should I have stopped the pill, or was it a good thing to do this copper T? So on the one hand, I'm quite happy that I don't have to worry about a pill, but on the other hand, the downsides of stopping a pill after 10 years of using a contraceptive, I had no idea the magnitude of all the hormones that were being put into my body on a daily basis from this pill, because I had the perfect period, I had a 4-day cycle, my skin was the clearest, I never ever in my life had never experienced any cravings, any moodiness. I had like the best period, or the period that every girl wishes for. Like, I was that girl who was like, you have cravings. I was like, that's just a myth. And then they were like, I'm bedridden, I can't do anything. And I was like, girl, I also have a period. That shit ain't real. Now, so what are the side effects from stopping the pill? I am completely and utterly emotional. I have mood swings all the time, because obviously my body is trying to adjust from having a pill for 10 years to relying on itself. So I haven't had a period for 3 months. However, I get the symptoms every time when I should have my period that I'm gonna have a period. I get the mood swings, I feel emotional, I get cramps, but there's no period. But they did say that because I haven't had a period, or my body's trying to adjust, it would take about 3 months. So obviously, if this problem persists, I will go and have it checked out. But for the last 3 months, I haven't had a period, but I'm having the symptoms of having those cycles. I'm completely and utterly emotional all the time. One day I'll wake up and I'll feel like my complete self, and the next day I can't get out of bed. So I'm still, to this day, I don't know if it was worth it, in all honesty, because although I know the magnitude of what I was putting into my body, my emotions are all over the place, my skin is breaking out, so I am struggling to adjust. But then again, it is an adjustment period. If it carries on, I will go and have my hormones tested to make sure that everything is fine. And then in terms of how long it lasts, so at any point, if I decide I want to have kids within 3 years, I can take it out, which I doubt, because I don't want kids in 3 years. However, it can be removed, but it will last up to 3 years, and then you can get it taken out. So the question is it worth it? I can't answer that yet. Really and truly, I don't know, and I can't tell. I'm still in my adjustment phase, but in about 3 months time, I will be able to tell you if it was worth it or not. But all I'm saying is, it is painful. After I got the procedure and I told these people, and I shouted at these people for telling me that it wasn't sore, they told me that they had the injection, but they didn't tell me that prior. So all those people who said to me it's not sore was because they had the injection for pain. So if you're going to have a copper T done, I would definitely tell you or recommend that you have the injection, so that you don't feel anything, because that pain is real. Then the question on how much it costs. So depending on your medical aid will cover a great portion of it. So my medical aid paid for the consultation, which is the first time you see the doctor or the lady. So that is 1,000 rand. Then the actual insertion, no medical aid pays for it. Or the place I went to, they don't claim from a medical aid for it. So that appointment is 900 rand. Then you actually need to go and get the pills and the device yourself. So they write out a script for you and you go and get that device. That device, my medical aid did cover for, and the pills that you have to insert up before the procedure. So in total, the only amount that I had to pay for was the actual insertion of it. The actual device and the consultation and all of those things were covered by my medical aid. So it is something that you can do through your medical aid. You just need to phone ahead and check how much you would be liable for, or how much they charge, or how much they will cover for you. So if you had no medical aid or wanted to do it without any medical aid assistance, I think it would roughly be like about 3,500 rand, obviously depending on how much, if that is like the maximum I think it would equate to. I think I've answered all the questions. If you have more questions based on this topic, please leave me a comment down in the comment section and I will make sure to answer it if I haven't answered it already in this video. But I hope you guys liked this video. I hope that you learned something. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and help me grow my YouTube family. And until next time, when I see you in my next video.